In 2019, Slay World had the underground scene in a frenzy. At the time, they were just kids, making music in their room. But before they knew it, they had invented a new sound and started a wave. The group became somewhat legendary due to their music, all the classics they dropped, and cult-like fan base. It was the start of a new era in the SoundCloud scene that was pretty much non-existent at the time. When fans hear Slay World, they think of members such as Summrs, Kankan, and Autumn, which is far from the full story, how this group began, what it really was, and who was even a part of it. Contrary to popular belief, Slay World was not started by Summrs, Kankan, or even Autumn. It was created by a guy named Kane Carlson from Canada. Kane was friends with Goonie, the person who sort of put the rap group together and was one of his earliest supporters. Around 2016 to 2017, he used to show Goonie a lot of support. He would send him clothes, and originally they made beats together. It became a music collective, but really was just people Goonie was cool with. In the beginning, it was really a skate collective and a clothing brand. There are actually a lot of older skate videos from YouTube with Kane's skate clips. To promote the clothing brand, a group chat for rappers was created with the help of Goonie. Goonie, Isaiah Tigi, and Frank's last
Dude name is Goonie.
first members.
Imagine your goon was named Goonie. Your friend was named Goonie. 2025. They would just clown you. No cap.
Goonie, Isaiah Tigi, Frank's Last Day, Endo, Alexander Prey, Venny, and Zay. The group chat even included SSG Kobe and Need at some point, but they weren't necessarily Slay, quote unquote. They were sort of close affiliates, along with Wildin. In short, if you were one of Goonie's friends, you were Slay World. But before we dive into how they met, here's some background information on the prominent members. First off, we have Goonie, the puzzle piece that brought the group together.
Goonie is from Cleveland, and he began as a producer, really inspired by Metro Boomin. Nobody wanted to hop on his beats, so he became a rapper himself. Next, Summrs is the most popular rapper from Slay World. Summrs is from Louisiana, who started rapping at 16. He was homeschooled in high school due to poor grades, and instead of using his laptop for schoolwork, he would record music. He's the founding father of the plug-and-B subgenre.
What the fuck?
Hailing from Dallas, Texas, Kankan started out as a producer and was really successful. He would produce for Smoke Perp, Lil Pump, and Famous Dex. In the early stages of Slay World, he wasn't even rapping yet. Then we have Autumn, aka Twin Uzis. Autumn was a producer turned rapper and is also from Louisiana. Fun fact, he's from the same city as SSG Kobe. He was also one of the early pioneers of the plug-and-B sound. He even got his name from Summrs. Autumn is a season after Summrs, and Autumn started rapping after Summrs, so he thought it was right.
Why the fuck they change voices?
He's a rapper from Ohio, extremely experimental, and maintains a pretty low-key presence on the internet. Not too much is known about the other members of Slay World like Frank's Last Day, Endo, AZP, Vinay, Zay, except most of them are based in Florida.
Okay, so back to how they all met. Before they even formally met each other, everyone in Slay knew each other from the start. Goonie had been listening to Summrs since he went by Louis VD. Goonie and Summrs would actually steal Kankan's beats before he had ever shown his face. They used to send each other songs around 2017 to 18. At that time, Kankan and Summrs were not cool because Kan didn't like how Summrs would steal his beats. However, one day,
what the
Kankan
fuck?
typed his name in on SoundCloud
Dude in Fortnite.
Summrs songs that he produced. He said it was trash, but he kinda liked it, so he clicked on Summrs' page.
Pack Runner bitch music
from there was
video.
Like, this guy's
what?
to go, whoever he is, and got in contact with him.
One day he dropped Pack Runner bitch, and then like some months later I typed in my name on SoundCloud and I seen the song with dudes. That shit was so ass, but I kind of like that shit. So I clicked on it page and I heard Pack Runner bitch. Then bro, I was like, bro, this is a goat, whoever this is. I remember it. Like then I had messages with, and then I was like, bro, you go crazy.
The first songs Kankan produced for him were mostly plug-and-B songs like 3am and Katie and Gigi, similar to Pack Runner Bitch, the song that made Kankan a fan of Summrs. In 2018, Summrs told Kankan he was going to be in Houston. Kankan is from Dallas, so they linked up. The first time they met is actually documented in a rare vlog. A year later, they moved in together, the first crib Summrs had, with Kankan in the north side of Houston. While this was happening, Goonie had moved to Florida. After high school, he had a regular job. He said screw it, and then just moved to Florida, where he linked with Frank. The first time Goonie went to Florida and linked up with Frank's last day, they were at an Airbnb. Frank's girlfriend and him were fighting, so she pulled up with her brothers. Long story short, Goonie and Frank beat the living hell out of them, the brothers, and even broke the youngest one's arm.
She Damn. Her brothers like trying to press him, like they trying to press him, like come outside, bro. And I'm like, bro, who is these? Who are y'all? Like, what are y'all doing here? Because me and Frank, this is the first time I met you, bro. Like, apparently we broke, like, it was a little, like 16. I had to be like 17, 18 at the time. We broke his arm or something. I don't even remember.
They all met in 2019 when Kankan and Summrs would begin coming out to Florida. They moved into a house in Orlando where Summrs, Goonie, Kankan, and DJ YP, Hozizi, would live. Goonie later reflected on his earliest memories from that period, saying,
It was fun, bro. It was us being kids, man. Like, it was fun.
They would frequently link up with other members of Slay like Isaiah TG and Frank, as well as collaborating with close affiliates like SSG, Kobe, Yeet, and Wyland. Yeet and Goonie would actually send each other songs, and Goonie's largest song to this day is Zaza, a collaboration between himself, Kankan, and Yeet. Wyland was friends with Summrs since early 2018 and has a couple tracks with them. And
fuck his pants all the way down like that. Is that Cole Bennett?
SSG, Kobe, and Yeet. Throughout this period, Kane was dropping clothes. He would drop t-shirts, beanies, sweats, and more. These designs were actually pretty nice, and as of 2022, they're really rare and go for ridiculously high prices, considering they are screen printed tees, and if you attempt to buy one, you'll likely get scammed in typical Slay World fashion. Summrs, Autumn, and Goonie were all making Plug and B when they first joined Slay. Summrs started Plug and B, so naturally his work was the best.
He dropped albums like Bell World 2, and Revive. Bell World and Bell World 2 were dedicated to his girlfriend at the time, Belle. They were romantic songs where he would talk about how he couldn't get her out of his head. She was the best thing that ever happened to him and how much he needed her in his life. The album featured Goonie and had production from Kankan. The follow-up, Bell World 2, was even better. He sings about his love for Belle, he never tell her a lie, and how she puts him in a trance. It was supposed to be a trilogy, but Belle cheated on him with one of his closest friends, Deuce.
Revived is my favorite Plug and B project by Summrs. He started to perfect his Plug and B sound, and his flows were incredible on songs like The Boss, Cathedral, and Element. The album is addictive. The whole project has an ethereal, dreamy production that makes you feel like you're floating, giving you the same vibe, yet no song sounds the same as another. He's not talking about anything in general, just life, which is what makes it so relatable.
I can't stand that man, dreads,
with
bro.
Iconic tapes like Before Retribution 3, Retribution 3,
fuck?
and Modern Day Michelangelo. Autumn's music was very similar to Summrs.
Fuck was that?
The same flow,
That goddamn
Summrs was a very frequent collaborator. I feel like what sets Autumn apart was his music, his voice, and the fact that he produced a lot of music for himself. Songs like Nina and Can't Help It are Plug and B classics.
And that period of Summrs and Autumn dropping so many hits consistently will probably never return, as they become so much more popular. Some of Goonie's earliest tracks,
Hate Me, Goofy featuring Summrs, PSA, and Can't Help It, are all Plug and B songs. He had a slower flow and would really just rap about anything from flexing his clothes to being betrayed by his friends and his drug use. Just a side note, at this point Kankan wasn't rapping, he was really more of a producer.
Pretty soon their sound would evolve, and they began rapping in a style never heard before. Once again, Summrs led this new wave. Summrs would drop the albums World Against Me, Evolved, and Isolation, and multiple underground hits like Coke, Tessum, and RNS. World Against Me wasn't really that experimental, but it was a solid album where Summrs showcased his versatility. And Evolved, Summrs showed off his vocal ability, rapping in an auto-tuned high-pitched voice. He also paid his respects to his friend Bana and the late producer Hella Sketchy, who both passed away. Summrs had started adding reverse ad-libs on his songs, which paired with soft hi-hats and quiet 808s sounded perfect. This was evident in Tessum, one of Summrs' most well-known songs to date, which popularized what fans call his ghost reverse reverb effect. By this time, Kankan had started rapping too. He began after putting a poll on his Instagram story and being encouraged to by his followers. He released a couple of tapes, which to be honest, weren't very good since he just started rapping, but once he dropped his self-titled project, Kankan, he really started to shine. It's probably a top 10 Slay World song, from the beat produced by Zangang and the way Kankan rapped on it. The hook was just him saying It was actually the first Kankan song I heard. The song was remixed by Summrs and Isaiah TG. Kankan also rapped with the reverse reverb effect Summrs used in songs like Go Mode and Triciana, which would cement it as another one of Slay World's signature sounds. To top it all off, Kankan was a pretty funny guy. He could do anything and it would just make you laugh. He once went on live and started cooking a steak while off a perk, and in songs like 380 Hellcat, he would say stuff like, "Kicking it with my white boys, they're a little racist." The next member I want to talk about is Isaiah TG, who wanted nothing to do with the group towards the end of 2019, but was actually one of the earliest members, possibly since him and Goonie were both from Ohio. He even has an album called #4Kane dedicated to the founder. Isaiah was actually the person who added Kankan to the Slay group chat back in the day as well. His music is nothing short of beautiful. Just listen to Archangels or Interlude and you'll know what I mean. He sings and raps, sometimes even doing both on a single track, or doing a mixture of that with a baby voice, and speaks about the struggles going on in his life and the drugs he takes to get through it all. Autumn mostly stuck to the Plug and B sound, but he does have projects from this time where he was predominantly rapping, like Wicked Clancy, his collab tape with Summrs, and 4, as well as some of my favorite songs by him, like Could You, Ariana Grande, Got It, and Protocol. He really just rapped about getting money, scamming, drugs, and his haters. Some of the lesser known members of Slay World were Frank's Last Day, Endo, and Alexander Prey. Frank's pretty versatile, making plug, rapping on regular rap beats, and his most frequent genre, R&B. Endo and Alexander Prey are better known as producers, but they have plenty of big songs themselves, like Ozone, Flying, and Thinking About You. Overall, the sound Slay World pioneered and their influence can still be seen today. For me and many other fans, they're on the same tier as other underground rap groups, like Goth Money and Drain Gang.
Damn. Dude just went straight to the fucking jump.
Slayworld was
Him getting
notorious for
arrested.
beefs they'd get into and just all around funny situations they'd find themselves in. Here are a couple of them.
The Gabby situation. This is kind of important because it was Summrs' like first viral moment. Even though it had nothing to do with music, Gabby was a mentally ill woman who had just gotten out of a mental hospital. Just a few days after, she went to Summrs' house. She wasn't Summrs' girlfriend, but Summrs' friends were interested and let her in the place. The first day at Summrs' house, she broke his TV. The next day, Summrs wakes up only to find out his friends had let her back in. Summrs kicks her out again. This sparks the infamous live where Gabby goes crazy and breaks Summrs' window. She tried to fight one of Summrs' friends, and it all ended with Summrs' female friends fought her. Summrs beating up an Instagram hacker. A hacker stole Summrs' Instagram for a bit. He told Summrs that he wanted to fight and that he was in Houston. They confronted each other on Instagram Live. Summrs said that he was in Dallas and that he would fight him when he would get back. Summrs won the fight and left him with a bloody mouth.
Summrs versus Lil Tecca. Summrs was beefing with Lil Tecca after he said he was only cool with Tecca for clout. He eventually made a diss on Lil Tecca, but they became cool later, and Autumn and Tecca are actually pretty good friends. The most famous beef was between Summrs, Kankan, and Sofago. Summrs responded to someone in his live saying there would never be a Fago and Slay collab.
The Great Sofago War. What the fuck?
Their comments saying Summrs got robbed and calling him a junkie, as well as addressing it on social media. Summrs fired back with SWK Freestyle, calling Fago his son, as well as claiming Fago asked him for a repost on SoundCloud. Kankan dissed Fago on a song with SG Kobe, Slimy, saying, "What's a Fago?" and Fago dropped Rat Runners, where he would directly diss Kankan, telling him he should stick to beats and that he should give Summrs his gun back. The beef ended and they're all on good terms now. This last one is really random.
Fuck?
It was between Comethazine and Autumn. Comethazine would claim that Autumn was a clone that was trying to bite his swag. The two went back and forth on social media, and Autumn made a diss track on him called Catch Out With You. That's it. Nothing really came out of it except a really good Autumn song. Since Slayworld was never official, there isn't an exact date to when the group ended because it didn't really go down like that. The group started to fizzle out by the end of 2020. The members drifted apart and are all doing their own thing right now. Lastly, I just want to say the founder of Slayworld, Kane, whose vision was responsible for the group, passed away on July 26th, so rest in peace.
Damn. They ain't gonna say how?
That's it for this doc. Feel free to
Hold
comment.
on, did they say it?
The members drifted apart and are all doing their own thing right now. Lastly, I just want to say the founder of Slayworld, Kane, whose vision was responsible for the group, passed away on July 26th, so rest in peace.
Alright. Didn't even say it. Hmm.